What's going on, everyone? Tallen here with 59 Gaming Direct, and today I'm joined by Ghostly Nate. We here today are going to be talking about the Battlefield 2042 open beta that just ended the other day. We wanted to kind of collect our thoughts on this because I don't think I've ever seen a fan base and just players in general so divided on this, regardless with the information that we had with the beta, how old it is, what is in the beta, what type of game this is becoming to be. And so I wanted to grab someone from 59 because we actually got to play for a decent amount of time together and just kind of give our overall thoughts, the good, the bad, and you can call it the ugly at the end or just your overall impressions. But we want to talk about that. For those of you that didn't know, though, the open beta was basically all-out warfare, 128 players, 4 specialists were included. So obviously there's more in the final version of the game. We played Conquest on Orbital, which, if I remember correctly, was the very same map that was done with the playtest that was leaked all over the internet and everything. But regardless, that's what was in the beta. So clearly not obviously the whole game. We still have Portal, Hazard Zone, which we still don't know anything about basically, unless you're following the leaks and everything. And so again, that was what the beta was. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and kind of just give your overall thoughts and opinions. Both Nate and I have put hours upon hours into multiple Battlefield games, easily over 1,000 plus for both of us, starting from Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Battlefield Hardline, regardless if we liked it or not, Battlefield 1. Neither of us really played Battlefield 5 aside from the beta and stuff, but regardless, we have put our time into the Battlefield and we want to see this game succeed. So without further ado, we present to you our review of Battlefield 2042 Open Beta. All right, so let's start with the positives, because there are actually some good positives to this beta and just what this game is going to be showing us as we go forward. So Nate, why don't you go ahead and give us your thoughts and opinions on what you liked about the open beta, whether it's gun mechanics, vehicles, map, you name it. Go for it, man.
So I really like to start off the openness of the map. It was really large, and for a 64 versus 64 match on Conquest, it felt really spread open, and it allowed you to have a sense that you weren't just going to spawn in and die right off the bat. You had to feel that, okay, I can spawn in, I can go and do what I want to do, and I don't have to worry about basically dying. So that I really liked. When it comes to the vehicles, I thought the vehicles were a lot of fun. There are some things they need to work on, but I'll get into that later. The tanks were very well balanced. The armor on them was great. Their health, their damage output to both infantry and other vehicles was very well done. When it comes to the helicopters, though, the helicopters and the jets, I liked flying them around. There's still some stuff they need to work on. Like I said, I'll get into that later as well. But other than that, also for the infantry-wise, being the player on foot, the gun mechanics, they were great. They were balanced. I liked them. Being able to customize your weapon while spawned into the game instead of having to wait to die and be in the menus, that I really liked. Being able to change the scopes, the magazines, anything on the weapon in game, I thought was a great addition to the mechanics.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I got to jump into a tank a little bit, and in fact, I believe I was the gunner for your tank for a little bit when we were playing together. It was just a lot of fun being in the tank again, because I remember back with Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5, at least from the open beta, I know things obviously changed, but a lot of people I saw across the internet did not like how the tanks were in 1 and 5 due to the whole like self-healing thing. And then I think 5 even introduced this random turret delay and everything like that. Like they kind of have it here in 2042, but it's definitely not as bad as it was back in 5. So I feel like it's kind of a mix of some of those new tank mechanics, but taking us back to the way it was done in 3 and 4, which is awesome. So I definitely enjoy the tanks myself. Huge helicopter pilot here. For anyone who doesn't know, I love flying the attack helicopter, even the little bird. I liked the vehicle overall. It definitely was go back to with Battlefield 4. However, I feel like there might have been some kind of glitch with, I think there's like this not easy mode, but it's like this like help pilot mode or something like that in the options. And I think that might have been on, or it's a glitch or something like that, because the helicopters did not feel as fast as they used to be. Like regardless of how much I wanted to try throttling forward or anything. It just wasn't going the way I wanted to, or it was going the direction, obviously, but it was just like I was at a constant snail's pace, it felt like, half the time. So being able to maneuver down behind a mountain or a hill to, you know, break line of sight or anything was not exactly the way I envisioned it. So I'm hoping that is changed before the final reveal or the final release and everything. But regardless, I still enjoyed the helicopters. On foot, I definitely liked the feel and the running and everything. I thought the movement was really good and solid and fluid. I mean, as much as I'd like to say that the older Battlefield games are amazing and there's nothing wrong with them, which clearly that's, you know, lens tilted glasses and everything with, you know, nostalgia. Some of the movements are still pretty janky in some of those other games, obviously. So I thought the movement was done really well here. A lot of people are trying to compare it to like COD and everything, but I think it's definitely not as fast as those other games. I think because a lot of Battlefield players are used to a slower movement mechanic that they think it feels faster. But in my personal opinion, at least, again, this is just my personal opinion, I thought the movement was really good. Just like what you said, Nate, with being able to change your attachments and everything on the run, that is an amazing feature that they've added in, and I don't think I can ever go back to not having that now. That being said, though, I did notice there was a couple of glitches, or maybe it's part of their design, I'm not really sure, where when you run out of ammo, but then you switch the ammo type, it then fully reloads the gun. So a lot of people are thinking that that's some kind of glitch, or it's not supposed to be like that. Again, keep in mind that according to all the developers who went onto Twitter and everything, they said this game is, or the beta is 2 months old. So that's like the end of July, early August time. If you guys don't know how an open beta works, or just how game development, they kind of shared this with us, and I'm making this very simplified. Think of game development as being on an interstate, essentially. And when you see something at E3 or Gamescom, which funny enough, they weren't at Gamescom this year, or some kind of show or anything like that, that is the exit ramp, essentially, right? So the moment that game, wherever the exit ramp is, that's where the game was at some time beforehand, right? So the open beta, even though we got it in October, it's supposed to be like that. Now, I have seen a lot of people say that is unacceptable. It's, you know, if this was anything else in the real world, you would have been criticized for it, because, you know, it's like, why are you giving us such an older version of the game? I see both sides of it personally, and I'll get into that and more later into the end. But just keep that in mind. That's how supposedly that's what the beta is supposed to be. So, but overall, I think the biggest thing though, when it came to my positives for this game, was just, it was fun. It was fun to jump in. I don't know about you, Nate, but it was just fun to jump into a Battlefield game again, squad up with some guys, and just have a blast, regardless of the glitches and the ragdoll physics. I absolutely love in Battlefield games. It was just fun to jump in. I don't know. What did you think?
Oh, I thought it was a lot of fun squatting up with you and others as well. It was just a lot of fun. There was a lot of laughs. There was a lot of raging. Going off of your comparing the game from Battlefield to Call of Duty, I mean, they're two totally different games, and these are two totally different scenarios. Battlefield, you have the variety of either being on foot or in a vehicle or a helicopter, while in Call of Duty, it's basically, I'll use Warzone for an example. It's basically little fast vehicles. You're not going to be in a tank, or you're on foot. And you can't be in a plane or really a helicopter for a long time in that end. Other than that, I found a lot of fun. I had loads of fun playing the beta. Ooh, bugs or known, but yeah. I
definitely agree with you there. I think overall, we both agreed on this because we were talking about this earlier before. The foundation, right? Regardless of what needs to be fixed, and you know, we can complain and nitpick and everything, the foundation is there for a really fun game. So definitely excited for it. All right, there he is. He's still in the same spot, right there in front of us.
I see him.
Yeah. So, okay.
Damn, this guy's taking a lot of damage. Okay, so we've talked about our positives now. Like anything though, nothing is perfect in this world. Let's talk about some of the negatives, or some of the things that we particularly didn't like. Nate, what did you not particularly like in this particular build of the game / beta?
So there were a couple things that I noticed. And one of the huge things that really stuck out to me, because I love flying the helicopters, I love driving the tanks, there were many issues that went on with those. When you were in the helicopters, the rockets for the helicopters, they did no damage whatsoever to the infantry or any ground-based vehicle, like none whatsoever. And the health for them was decent, I have to say, but other than that, the speed for the helicopters, it was a snail's pace. It was very, very slow. When you compare and look at the speed of them in real life, it makes them look like they're running, well, yeah. Not very well. One thing they have to fix, and it's a huge fix that they need to do, is fix the cameras when it comes to being in the gunner seat for a tank. Because it wasn't just me, it was others that I played with as well that had this situation, and it would just be spazzing out big time. Like, it would be going all over the place. Like, the sensitivity could be at 0 even. And it wasn't even a sensitivity issue, it was an in-game issue to where the gun and the crosshair would just be spazzing out all over the place. When you'd be on foot and you'd be looking up at the sky, you'd see helicopters teleport, you'd see jets teleport and rubber band as well. And it wasn't due to internet connection. Like, this was a common thing happening to a lot of people, and it was really hard to lock on to those vehicles from the ground. So that's something they have to fix. Other than that, I can't really think of any any others at the moment.
No, I definitely agree with the whole vehicle aspect things. I mean, I remember being the gunner for you and my camera just wigging out. I felt like I was on something, like, woo, Tallen, you smoking the good stuff there or something? Because oh my gosh, it was just like nausea essentially. I had to get out. I was like, dude, I cannot be your gunner anymore. I just can't. This camera is killing me right now. So I really hope that that's, I don't know if that's, a combination of, working and just how the camera is in the tank or something like that. I don't really know. I mean, it definitely wasn't it's not internet, right? People like to just point out, well, get better internet. It's like both Nate and I have very good internet. It's not internet, and you can talk to almost anyone else who played this beta. It has nothing to do with your internet. It has to do with either the server connections or just how things are programmed and everything, and a combination of that stuff and all that. And also depends on maybe like particular hertz of the actual servers themselves. We're hoping they're 60 hertz servers. We don't need to go back to 10 and 15 like we did back in the old Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3 days. Those were pretty atrocious. So I'm hoping they don't have those. I mean, Battlefield 5 had them. Then I think we're fine here with Battlefield 2042. But again, I don't know too much about the whole beta side of the things. I definitely agree with that, though. I definitely agree with the helicopters particularly. And it was definitely interesting, though, because when I flew around in the Little Bird had either the minigun or the infantry rockets. And those infantry rockets actually took out infantry pretty easily. Like, so I was thinking, okay, maybe the attack helicopter has more of a vehicle-based, rocket, which, in the real, the final version of the game, you'd be able to switch back and forth between them. But that wasn't the case at all, because I would try to attack a tank, line him up. He was just sitting there, fire like at least 8 to 9 rockets into the guy. And I look back at it, I'd swing around, see his health bar, and it's like a quarter of the health gone or something like that. I was just like, okay, something's going on here. I don't really know what's going on. I don't want to say like, oh, vehicles need to be overpowered or we need the helicopters to be dominating everything. But I think, assuming this is the route they're going to go in terms of what types of rockets you have, so whether it's a more vehicle-based anti-vehicle rocket or an infantry-based one, then they should be able to do that. If the Little Bird ones are doing fine, then if the attack helicopters in this beta were supposed to have more of a vehicles-focused one, they weren't doing anything, though. So that I didn't particularly like as well. Another thing when it came to the infantry, I think many people have talked about this. I think probably, Nate, you'll agree with this. Every single specialist looks the same. I know other games like Call of Duty and Apex and all these other games, obviously you're gonna have people playing as the same type of character. And I know obviously there's gonna be different skins and everything, but when the game first comes out, you have to realize that no one's gonna have any of that stuff unlocked. So everyone's gonna be playing as a particular specialist. But the problem is that on the Russian side and on the US side, and I know it's all based on the little backstory that they have and everything, everyone looks the same. So they need to find a much better way, and hopefully they fix this already, to make us not look the same, because there are half the times I'd see a specialist on the field, I'm thinking, oh, it's an enemy. There's no white above their head or anything like that, which, by the way, FYI, please change the color of your allies from white, and also the capture flags. That was just white's neutral. Change it to something else. But regardless, they need to fix that. But there are just a lot of times where I'm like, oh, you're my ally, not my enemy. And then I turn and be like, oh, you're my ally. And then I get shot in the face. I don't know, Nate. Did you have any of that problem with in terms of them all looking the same?
Oh, big time. Because the health bars above the enemy's head, once you point your weapon at it, it'll show up. But the thing is, though, is that it was so tiny and so hard to see that it really made you think, okay, is that an ally? Is that an enemy? Like, who am I looking at? And then soon enough, you're dead. One thing I want to add on to what you said is about the Little Bird. I found those things nearly impossible to destroy.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Impossible. Their speed is fine, like that's the speed on how a Little Bird is supposed to be. They're supposed to be very fast because they're technically a transport attack helicopter. But the missiles were ridiculous on those things. Ridiculous, like completely ridiculous. And then the miniguns on them, they had like no cooldown whatsoever. I was in a match and I cannot kid you, that gun on that helicopter was just going nonstop. Like there was no cooldown for it whatsoever, and it was just it was ridiculous. Ridiculous for that thing. So that's one huge thing. If you're listening, please fix that for the love of God.
And again, we both understand that trying to balance a game, especially this scale, we know it's tough, right? Any Battlefield game has always had some overpowered thing, or they try to balance something but it doesn't work out exactly the way they want to. We get that. We're not saying like, God, I could do this 10 times better than you or anything like that, but try to find a happy middle ground before this game's released and everything is all we're basically saying. So anything else on the negative side that you want to point out before we go into our final thoughts?
Not at the moment, no. I don't have anything.
Let's go, boys. Double kill. All right, I'm flying down to
D. Yeah, I'm going with you.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh no! It didn't deploy the parachute. What the hell? I suicided.
Okay, everyone, so we've gone into the positives, gone into the negatives. Let's go into just kind of our final thoughts to wrap this video up here. Nate, give us your final thoughts.
I really enjoyed it. Whether I was on foot or in a vehicle or in a helicopter, I had a lot of fun overall. It's just a combination of everything. The thing is, though, is that if they drop this game, if they release this game the way it was with all the bugs and the issues that went on with the beta, if they release the game with all those things going on, now granted, it's an older beta. It's about 2 months old, so I get it that there's a lot of bugs and stuff from that. But if they release it and it has all those bugs that were in the beta, it's going to be a huge problem. But will I keep the game? Will I keep the pre-order? I definitely feel like I will. It's a beta. It's not the official release. So I'm really hoping and I'm looking forward to playing the final version of everything. I'm especially looking forward to knives versus defibrillators. I saw that in the trailer. And I was like, all right, that's the selling point for me right there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I thought it was a great experience. I thought it was a lot of fun. And I hope everyone that's watching got a chance to play it also.
Yeah, I think like we stated back in the positive section of the video, the fun factor is there, right? The foundation for this game is there. And if you guys happen to follow me personally on Twitter, you know that I put out like an 8-tweet section of just simply asking DICE. I personally hope that they would delay it. I don't think EA is going to let them, unfortunately, shareholders, all that stuff and everything like that. In a perfect world, I'd have this game delayed by like another 3 to 4 months just to slap some of these out of the way. And again, I know developers have gone onto Twitter and everything like that and said, look, we've already taken care of this stuff because the beta is an older build. But let's also be honest here, Battlefield games have not had the greatest releases in quite a while, right? If we remember 3, 4, right. Even Hardline, 1 had a decent release, but it still had some issues and everything. 5 especially had some issues, and a lot of people are comparing this 1 month delay to how Battlefield 5 did as well, especially because EA came out and said, look, this game is way ahead of schedule and everything, and then to delay it, right? Which, by the way, also we know that because they're working from home, all the developers and everything, that is not an easy task. So we do not blame them whatsoever for that. So in a perfect world, yes, I would love for them to delay this. If they don't, however, again, the foundation is there. I just hope that everything is turning out. And maybe this is just because we've been burnt so many times on games in the past, not just Battlefield games, but games in general. Developer or company says this, and it turns out to be this and everything. So I'm really hoping that they have nailed out a lot of those issues and everything. I mean, one thing I forgot to mention in the negative side was that giant drop down bar whenever somebody gets the, majority captures. And it's just like, oh, it's so ugly. Get rid of it.
Yeah, the huge drop down, the huge pop up that says, oh, the enemy has a majority of
I was like, oh, please get rid of that. Oh my gosh, it was atrocious to see that. Things like that. I'm really hoping they've done that. Whether and then obviously if they fixed all the rubber banding issues and all that stuff. I've seen a lot of people saying that they're canceling their pre-order and everything like that. And I will remind people also that obviously a beta does not represent the full game. I think it does represent a decent amount of what you're going to see, right? One thing I'm personally super excited for is Portal. Portal is what we have all been dreaming about as Battlefield fans, right? Being able to do all these custom servers, go into all these old maps and everything, bring back the past way that you're playing games from 3 and 1 and all that stuff. Like, that is amazing stuff to see right there. And I cannot wait to try Portal out. Just overall, though, I really want Battlefield to get a win, and I hope everyone can tell from the tone of our voices and everything that we want this game to succeed. We want Battlefield to get the big W, and we are super excited. Just, Dice, we want to believe in you. We really do. Please prove us that you have got this under control and things are ready to go. We're not asking for a perfect game. No game is perfect or anything. But if you're telling us that, oh, yeah, don't worry, we've already ironed all this stuff out, and then come release, because let's be honest, it's not really the 19th it's going to be the release. It's going to be the week before for the early access. There's no difference between there. Yeah, there's the day one patch and everything, but overall, it's going to be on that. So they've only got 3-4 weeks now before this game releases. So I really hope that they have ironed all this stuff out already. So, but I think without that being said, any final words, Nate?
No, I don't have any final words. I'm pretty much on the same page as you as all this. I'm really looking forward to the release of this. I just hope they don't patch the tanks. They've done that so many times in past Battlefields. I really hope they don't.
Yeah, just fix those tank cameras and we're good to go, basically, right? For the gunner seat, exactly. And just fix those.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, guys, that is going to be it from us here at Five Nights Gaming Direct. If you happen to enjoy the video, leave a like and leave your comments down below. Are you going to be picking up this game? Are you going to wait to see the reviews and everything? You can 100% bet your tail we are going to be reviewing this here on Five Nights Gaming Direct. So if you want to, hit that sub button as well to help support the channel and keep up to date when we eventually release our review when this game comes out. I already have it pre-ordered and everything, so it is going to be definitely within those first. I'm probably going to give it about 4 days or so from the, early release, really dig into the game and everything like that, check everything out from the PC specs and everything like that, and we'll have to wait and see how everything goes. So anyway, guys, I've been Tallen with Five Nights Gaming. This has been Nate, and we will see you guys all in the next one.
Bye-bye.